friends, welcome to the platform of Darshanik. This is Akshay Kadam. So guys, today on this platform of Darshanik, we are going to continue one discussion regarding UPSC ethics paper related and social issue related debate. And today's debate, is about decriminalization of adultery. Okay, so you must have heard about Supreme Court in its one verdict around 2017-18 May. Okay, Supreme Court decriminalized this adultery. So initially, the adultery was a crime in India. It was a crime under IPC, CRPC. So under IPC के section में, it was crime from 1860 when IPC got created. Okay, but it was Supreme Court decriminalized. So what were the reasoning of Supreme Court? Why it decriminalized? And later on, when Supreme Court decriminalized, many agencies, organizations were demanding its recriminalization in gender neutral form. Okay, so what they mean by gender neutral form, that also I will discuss with you. And even okay, the parliamentary panel that was going to submitted its opinion on Bharat Nyaya Sanhita. Okay, in Bharat Nyaya Sanhita, they recommended to the government that adultery should again be criminalized in gender neutral form. But even Bharat Nyaya Sanhita did not criminalize adultery, and adultery even after passage of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita bill, okay, stands decriminalized. Okay, so what was this issue regarding adultery and this demand that is going on that to criminalize it to protect the system of marriage, and what was Supreme Court's opinion, why it decriminalized, and why government also did not make it again a crime under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. And so that topic we are going to discuss now, the adultery, why it was decriminalized in the first place. Adultery is considered as a bad moral value, universally bad moral value, having extramarital affairs. Then why Supreme Court decriminalized? That is, guys, the old law, okay, that what we call the law of 1861 IPC में जो clause था, okay, it was based on Victorian morality, okay, and the wording of the law was bit problematic. Okay, it was discriminating on the ground of sex also. So what was this decriminalization? The old adultery law. Okay, so guys, there was section 497 of Indian Penal Code 1860, the old provision. Now let's see what that provision was saying literally. Okay, the provision states that a person who has sexual intercourse with person they know or believe to be the wife of another person. Person they know or believe to be wife of another person, okay, wife of another man, without the consent of that person. Understand the line? Without the consent of that person, okay, then a person is guilty of adultery. So if there is a consent of the husband of that wife, okay, then it is not adultery. So this line I will come back later on. But remember, so any person who has a physical relation with wife of any other married man, that married man can file a complaint of adultery, FIR under adultery. Other person will be arrested under adultery law, and the punishment for adultery is up to 5 years in prison and a fine. Okay, and the punishment for adultery 5 years in a prison as well as a fine. Now this was the old law. Now what was Supreme Court's opinion? Why it decriminalized? So let's discuss Supreme Court ka opinion. So why adultery was struck off by IPC from IPC, and Supreme Court in 2018 declared that. So guys, in 2018 Supreme Court declared that IPC section 497, which punished men but not women for adultery, is arbitrary and unconstitutional. So obviously वो जो law था 497 of IPC, इसमें only males are jailed, that any male who has a relation with the married woman, that person will be jailed. Okay, but in this law, guys, females, okay, wasn't jailed. If any female who has a relation with married male, okay, then there won't be any provision for jailing her. Okay, या फिर married men, any person who has a relation with a married female, then that person will be jailed, but that married wife, okay, she will not be jailed. So by law, only males were sent to jail, but females wasn't jailed. And that's what Supreme Court said. This law is not getting applied equally. It is discriminating on the ground of sex. It is arbitrary. It's not, it is gender bias. Okay, and that's why it is removed. But guys, remember, okay, this is not the what all the crux of this is. there was very twisted logic under this adultery law. This law seems to be in punishing males, but wasn't punishing the females, okay, on face. It appears so, but in reality, the logic is very much twisted, and that twisted logic lies in what we call the concept of Victorian morality, okay. And so what was this twisted logic, guys? So this gender bias was not in favor of males. Actually, law is gender biased against females, okay. Generally, you will feel that in this law, okay, females are sent to jail. Males are sent to jail. Females are not sent to jail. But no, this law is not in favor of the females. It was actually biased towards the males. And how this gender bias or patriarchy, this law actually reflects the patriarchy. Okay, and why? So logic lies in the Victorian morality. It reflects patriarchal Victorian morality. Now, when this law was made, 1860 IPC got formulated. In 1860, when IPC got formulated, what we have there was a Queen Victoria ruling London. And that's why it is called Victorian morality. But it was not Queen Victoria's morality. It was the morality, okay, of the London or British people then, which were, and that time British society was also a bit patriarchal. And this patriarchy is reflecting in this law. Now, how this Victorian morality or patriarchy is reflecting, how it is gender bias. So, see this case. What law says, okay, understand. Law says that, okay, there is a married man. He has a married wife, married female. Any person who has a relation with the married female, okay, wife of another person, married male or unmarried male, okay, both will be jailed. So, isko bhi jail bheja jayega and he will also be jailed. So, any person who has a relation with the married female, okay, another married male, another unmarried male, both of them, unko utha ke main jail mein dalunga. So, married male, okay, has a protection. If any person touches his wife, he will jail both of them. So, stay away from my wife, okay. Now, what's the twisted logic, guys? Here, female is not jailed. Or these two people will be jailed. Now, twisted logic is, guys, suppose the opposite condition. If any female, okay, has a relation, any female, married or unmarried female, has a relation with married man, okay. So, suppose any female has a relation with married man, uski jo wife hai, married female, okay, has no protections. Or any married female has a relation with another married man, her husband will jail that guy, okay. So, logically, okay, this person, so guys, in 2018, Supreme Court declared that IPC section 497, which punished men but not women for adultery, is arbitrary and unconstitutional. Because in this law, only a male who has a relation with married female will be jailed. But the married female who is committing adultery, she wasn't jailed. So law was discriminating on the ground of sex. It was only sending males for adultery to jail, but it wasn't sending females to jail for the adultery. So for the same crimes, you are punishing male and female differently. But guys, so this law was again arbitrary. But guys, this law, those sounds that sending male to jail, not females to jail, okay, is gender biased. But guys, this law is not gender biased, okay, against males. Rather, in this law, there was very twisted logic, and this law was gender biased towards the females. Now, how this law was gender biased towards the females? There were two reasons for that. Okay, first reason was this gender bias was observed in the form of patriarchy. Okay, so gender bias or patriarchy in this law. So this law actually reflects the patriarchal mindset of the society. And this law was prepared or made in 1860 in IPC, which was created in 1860. And this IPC, which was created in 1860, that time, guys, Queen Victoria was ruling London, and so effectively over India. And that's why this law is also called the law of Victoria, based on Victorian morality. But that this wasn't the morality of Queen Victoria, but morality of the then ruling classes of the Britain parliamentarians, bureaucrats, etc. Overall, it was reflecting the patriarchal mentality of the British as well as Indian society, which led to formation of this law. Now, how it was reflecting this mentality? Okay, so let me tell you this twisted logic. Now, what was the law was saying? Suppose there is a married male and a married female. Okay, married male, married female. Now, anyone who has a relation with married female, another married male or unmarried male. Okay, as per law, there was a protection to the married male that no one should touch his wife, and if anyone touches his wife, another married male or another married male, both will be, okay, jailed by him and both will be sent to the jail. Okay, so law was clearly for married males to protect their married females or their wives' bodily dignity, bodily integrity, and anyone touches my wife, okay, another married male, another unmarried male, I will put them in jail. That was what this law was saying, okay, was giving the protection. But understand the twist, there wasn't any protection for a married female, okay, to control her husband's sexuality. Okay, by this law, married male can control his wife's sexuality, and if any another male tries to come close to her, tries to have a relation with her, any extramarital affair with her, doesn't matter who is he, married male or unmarried male, both will be jailed. So stay away from the wife. But guys, see the twist here. But if any married male, okay, has relation with another married female and unmarried female, so if any married male has relation with another married female, her husband will jail him. ये जो married female है, उसका जो husband है, he will file a case of adultery against and he will be jailed. But as a married male, if he has a relation with unmarried female, married male having relation with unmarried female, okay, here, okay, there was no adultery ka provision. In this case, married male is doing adultery, unmarried female is also doing adultery. Unmarried female wasn't going to go to jail, married male wasn't going to go to jail, and married female has no way to stop her married husband from having relation with unmarried female. If her husband has relation with another married female, her husband will jail him. Okay, but this option for married males, this option was open to have a relation with unmarried females. So by this law, any married female has a relation with another married male or unmarried male, both will be jailed. But married male has a relation with married female, he will be jailed. But married male had relation with unmarried female, he will not be jailed. So by this law, patriarchy was trying that no one should touch my married wife, okay, stay away from my wife, but as a husband, okay, I have option open of having relation with unmarried females, and that will not be considered adultery, or that won't be crime. And this is how, guys, this law was reflecting this patriarchy in the society, and that what we call Victorian morality. And so this law was gender biased towards actually females, not towards the males. And that's why ethics paper, guys, is very twisted, is based on very twisted logics. You have to understand these logics. So this is the first way, guys, okay, this law of adultery was, why it was decriminalized, because it was discriminating on ground of sex. It was jailing the males but not the females. But actually, this law reflected the patriarchal bias in the law, patriarchal bias of the society, what we call Victorian morality. And also there was a second reason. And understand the second reason. What this law is used to say, section 497, that it says that person who has sexual intercourse with the person they know or believe to be the wife of another man without the consent of that person, without the consent of that person. Understand here. So if married husband gives the consent, okay, then, okay, it will not be considered adultery. Only if he doesn't give the consent, it will be adultery. Okay, so what is adultery and what is not adultery will be decided by whether husband has given consent or husband has not given the consent. So again here, okay, males used to define, okay, what will be considered adultery or not. They will be deciding for their female wife whether it will be adultery or not. Okay, so here also it was arbitrary. And secondly, okay, married males has a relation with unmarried female, not adultery. His wife has no option to jail her husband or that unmarried female. She can't send them to jail. Okay, but as a married male, okay, anyone has a relation with the wife, that is married male or unmarried male, both will be jailed. And that was this twisted logic of this law. And so finally, so it was criminalizing only this relation. It was criminalizing this relation, but it was totally accepting, okay, this relation. And that's why, okay, Supreme Court decriminalized this law. But later on, guys, then government or many panelists or many organization was saying to protect the institution of marriage, adultery has to be criminalized again. Now देखो यहाँ पे Supreme Court had one option, okay, that anyone has relation with married female, married male, unmarried male will be jailed. Same way, anyone has relation with married male, another married female or unmarried female, इनको भी जेल में भेज दो. Send everyone to a jail. Whoever engages in adultery, okay, all whatever combination can be possible, send everyone to jail. Now this they could have done. Instead of decriminalizing, they could have criminalized this relation also. Okay, तो कोर्ट ने बोला attorney, either now we are planning to criminalize this. Okay, the attorney said, let me discuss with the government. Okay, because if we make this, criminalize this, no male will ever again vote the government. So why take a risk, okay, of criminalizing, and they decriminalized everything. Section 497 was totally decriminalized. Now that's not what attorney said or judges said, but that's for a joke purpose. But then why, instead of criminalizing all relations, even not only send married male, unmarried males to jail, even said another married female or unmarried female, send everyone to jail and overall criminalize the adultery, why it wasn't done? Okay, so there was another reason for that. Okay, and this is what parliamentary panel also said, कि reintroduced or bring back this adultery in Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita mein, bring it back again, criminalize in a gender neutral form. So I will come back to that. But see what Supreme Court said when decriminalizing, while criminalizing adultery, that it violated provisions of the Constitution and held that this law was archaic, arbitrary and paternalistic. See, this law was paternalistic, okay, in mentality and infringe upon women's autonomy, dignity and privacy. Okay, so this law was paternalistic and in which infringe on women's autonomy, dignity and privacy. Okay, women have no say in this law. They can't control their husband or any unmarried female having relation with their husband. She can't jail her, but husband can send any person who has relation with his wife. Okay, so it was patriarchal. Okay, it was controlling women's autonomy, dignity, privacy, and court also held that the provision under this section only penalize married men and reduce the married women to be a property of her husband. Married woman is a property of her husband. Anyone touches her, I will jail you. Stay away from her. Okay, and if I give a consent, it will not be adultery. If I don't give consent, adultery, and all other people will be jailed. So this was again not only discriminating, it was paternalistic, considered women as husbands husband's property. Okay, they will be having no bodily autonomy, dignity, etc., and even impacted the privacy. So Supreme Court decriminalized. Okay, now there was option, I told you, criminalize it for everyone. Why that wasn't done? And that was also recommended by this parliamentary committee on Bharat Nyaya Sanhita, the parliamentary committee that suggested changes, amendments to the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. But they suggested this amendment to Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita that recriminalize the adultery, bring it back, okay, cancel the Supreme Court ka verdict. But guys, though they recommended that, government, when finally the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita bill that was passed, it has no adultery included in the final provision. And so it was omitted by Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita also. So Parliamentary Standing Committee report sought to include section 377 in its read down form for prosecution of non-consensual sexual acts of unnatural order. So a 377 is also removed Unnatural Sexual Offences Act from the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. But see, this second recommendation, it had said that the institution of marriage is sacred in Indian society and it must be safeguarded by adding section on adultery in the gender neutral form. So you need to add section on adultery in gender neutral form, means males are going to jail, then also send females to jail, but make it a law, okay, bring back the adultery, criminalize the, bring back criminalization of adultery. Now why it was not done by Supreme Court then and even by the government while finally passing Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, then it was for 2-3 major reasons. So why adultery is not introduced in Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita in gender neutral form? Reason guys, no institution of marriage, the Supreme Court has said then, no institution of marriage can survive on the fear of law. Okay, two people are staying together because if they have extramarital affair, they will be jailed. Okay, nothing, no society, no relation, okay, can survive on a fear of law. That I should not do adultery because there is a jail. Okay, marriage as an institution should and can only survive because two people are committed with each other. They love each other, they have mutual commitment, respect for each other, okay, and they are there in the marriage, okay, happily and willingly, not because of the force of the law or fear of the law. And guys, remember, just because there is a law and there is a fear of the law, okay, it works to improve morality, etc., is not guaranteed. Criminalizing adultery is not an effective deterrent. कि सिर्फ अडल्ट्री का लॉ है इसलिए बिफोर इट वाज डीक्रिमिनलाइज्ड अडल्ट्री लॉ, बिफोर दैट ओके अडल्ट्री के लॉ में इट वाजंट कि पीपल वाजंट डूइंग मैरिड पीपल वाजंट डूइंग अडल्ट्री. Okay, so even despite it was a law, people were doing adultery, and even if you make the law stricter, people will do the adultery. Okay, there is no guarantee that stronger law, severe law, okay, or just having a law will act as a deterrent. Okay, research suggests that socio-cultural and personal factors play more significant role in shaping behavior than legal sanction. So more than legal sanctions, guys, how society looks at the relation, culture looks at this relation, their personal husband-wife relation, okay, they matter. And so jo opinion was that husband and wife, they stay together, they should stay together only on a basis of mutual love, respect, commitment, okay, not because of the fear of the law. They should trust each other and they should leave each other. Okay, no one should be forced by the law, okay, to stay committed, and no one can stay committed by the force of the law. Just to help you understand this concept better, guys, Gandhi at the age of 35 took oath of brahmacharya. Okay, so when he took a brahmacharya oath, actually Gandhiji said, now the day I have taken oath of brahmacharya, my relation actually began. My wife became free from my desires as her master, and she as a slave to satisfy my desire. Now she is a free and I am a free man. So Gandhi's simple opinion was like right now their relation actually started, the platonic relation. So what Gandhi was saying, if as a husband and wife, okay, two people, as long as there are mutual sexual exchanges are involved, anyone can stay together, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. But now when we have took a oath of brahmacharya, we will not be satisfying each other's sexual needs, desires, and even if after that we stay committed to each other, we love each other, that's the real relation. And that's what any married relation should be. Okay, two people should stay together only because they mutually respect, love, trust each other, not because of there is a force of law. And second, another reason, guys, it may lead to intrusive state surveillance of individual in private life. Now guys, government ने helmet का law बनाया, then people will say, why government is making helmet law? मेरा दिमाग, मेरा helmet, government should not teach me, government should not make paternalistic law. Okay, father बन के government हमें कोई guideline ना दे, जैसे father son को gives the guidelines. Okay, same way what to eat, what not to eat, we say it's an intimate personal relation. What should I eat? Whether I should eat beef or not eat, or eat anything else or not, my personal decision. Government should not interfere in what I put in my mouth. So everywhere we want liberty, freedom, okay, and this then, the government should decide how people should behave morally, their sexual orientation or sexual choices, okay. First of all, that is the problem that attacks on privacy that Supreme Court was saying. And secondly, even if it is an attack on privacy, okay, it is unnecessary state surveillance into the private life of people, okay. It's their husband-wife's decision, okay, whether they like each other and stay committed or engage in adultery. And if another partner is engaging in adultery, she can take a divorce, okay. Understand, adultery has decriminalized. It is not legalized. Adultery is still ground for taking divorce. So any wife engages in any kind of adultery, husband-wife engages, another partner can use it as a ground for a divorce. Okay, so two people should love and trust and stay committed to each other and stay married. And if any person is doing adultery, other person can take a course of or help of law, take a divorce. Adultery is still ground for the divorce, but there should not be an external interference, state interference in the married relation of the two people. And remember, one statement was that Bharat Nyaya Sanhita suggested that it is said that the institution of marriage is sacred, okay, in Indian society. This is a very problematic thing to say. that institution of marriage is sacred in Indian society. So what do you mean? ये जो Middle East और Europe में और America में whatever marriages are happening, okay, are they not sacred marriages? Are they not sacrosanct? Okay, उनके marriages कैसे ही हवा में? That is very what do you call? Very something chauvinistic thing to say. Very kind of self-aggrandizing kind of behavior or a statement to make. We are so great, our culture is so great. And if Indian marriages are so sacrosanct and sacred, then why we are discussing adultery? People should not engage in adultery in the first place at all. There shouldn't be this issue even of adultery. Okay, so this is a very problematic thing to say. It's a foreign concept, Western concept, etc. And Indian marriages are more sacred and sacrosanct. Even this was the argument in marital rape cases. Indian marriages are sacred and sacrosanct, and so marital rape should not be criminalized. Okay. So why, if Indian marriages are sacred and sacrosanct, so marital rape shouldn't be criminalized. Then same way, okay, if Indian marriages are so sacred and sacrosanct, then there shouldn't be issue of criminalizing adultery in the first place. Apply same logic. Okay, but foreign marital rape is a foreign concept, doesn't apply to Indian marriages. That you can't say. Okay, everywhere marriages are sacred and sacrosanct as long as two people trust, okay, and want to maintain the sanctity. Government should not interfere in making laws, okay, doing intrusion in people's life. And even if the government wants to do the law, okay, then it should have been gender neutral. You can't give males, okay, power to control their wife's sexuality, okay, and putting any other person to jail, but they can engage in adultery and wife has no control over the males. Then you are discriminating clearly on the ground of sex. Law is biased towards the males. Okay, it is patriarchal in orientation, okay, and treated women as a mere object. And that's what the basic reason, okay, under this why adultery was decriminalized and why it was not recriminalized even in Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, though parliamentary panel suggested for that. अब इसके बाद what happens next, okay, whether there will be again addition, amendment, etc. as some organization, even parliament की panel suggested for that we'll have to wait. But this was a topic that I wanted to discuss with you. Okay, so thanks for listening, guys, and stay tuned to my Darshanik IAS YouTube channel, and also join me on UPSC Ethics 4 Telegram, okay, to download these notes. And I have already uploaded my SC Ethics courses on Darshanik by Kadam sir on Google Play App Store. Okay, you can join me there and enroll for those classes, which I told you will be one-stop solution for all your SC Ethics and other needs. So thanks for listening, guys, and stay tuned.